What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the NerdWide podcast. This is episode 70, and listen, we have got a great one for you. We don't have any TV shows to talk about, but we've got a book review, and we've got some fun DC content we've been kind of talking about for the past couple of weeks. But before we get there, I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend and co-host, Chris Rivers. Chris, how has your week been?
I got laid off.
That's never a fun thing to hear.
No.
No.
Um, no, but I'm in the process of hunting for a job. So on the bright side, it gave me time to finish getting caught up on a show that I've been wanting to watch for a while.
We're
So,
going to talk about that. And listen, we got a lot of things to talk about. I hate that you got laid
how
off.
how has your week been?
Had a little bit of the stint in the hospital on Saturday.
Oh
That's
no.
why we're doing a late recording on a Tuesday this week. But that's for another time completely once we get there. But quick housekeeping because we do have a big show and a lot of fun. I really can't wait to get into it. Housekeeping, don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting services of your choice. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating on whatever podcasting app that you use. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, or if you have any changes or any ideas, anything you would like to see, let us know down in the comments, or you can always email us at nerdwide@gmail.com and let us know what you want to see, hear, or do. If y'all want to do more, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. There's 3 different tiers there for 3 different payment plans for 3 different tiers of goodies and fun things that we will do just for you if you subscribe to us on our Patreon. But Chris, I want to get into it. For everyone listening and watching, we're going to do a kind of hard cut to kind of redo an intro for this book review. And also for the DC thing, we're going to do as well because we're going to put those as a separate video, but that is a part of this podcasting episode of episode 70. So we're going to do there'll be a good pregnant pause on both of these, but we'll both let you know when that is, and you can obviously tell when it is. But we are going to do a book review that I got contacted by Books Forward. Our contacts out there said, hey, we've got a book for you. Don't know if you want to review it. We're going to see. We think it'd be right up your alley. And sure enough, I enjoyed the book. It is Kaya and the Morian Treasure by R.S. Malay. Is how we're going to believe his name is. His last name, couldn't find it anywhere. Of course, I could always reach out and ask how to pronounce his last name. I actually, probably, Chris, I could Twitter DM him right now and say, hey, how do you pronounce your last name before I butcher it? I don't know. I don't know how soon he'd get back to me, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we're going to review it, and then we're going to do our DC thing. So Chris, ask as many questions as you can with this book if you want to, and I'm going to talk about it, talk about the author, and then give a spoiler-free synopsis, and then what I thought about the book, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start on it real quick, and nice pregnant pause. Hey everyone, welcome to the NerdWide podcast. I'm Tyler Haynes with my good co-host Chris Rivers, and we've got a new book review for you. This one is Kaya and the Morian Treasure by R.S. Malay. Of course, the good people from Books Forward sent this over to us to review, and sure enough, we reviewed it. I was actually one that read this one. I really enjoyed it. First thing first, though, read a little bit of a synopsis for you so you know what you're getting into before I talk about my thoughts on it. Among the ancient ruins of a distant planet lies a girl's diary. The first entry is a warning. If you're reading this and I'm not dead, then get out of my stuff. With that brisk alert begins the epic adventure in R.S. Malay's space opera Kaya and the Morian Treasure, which came out on April 26, 2022. Malay, who worked on Xena the Warrior Princess for those who were back in the 90s, it's a phenomenal show to watch. If you still want to go watch it, please do. It's really great. Took his experience in the television and film industries to craft a female-led young adult sci-fi novel that will captivate readers of all ages and genders. The aforementioned diary belongs to Nadir, the daughter of a peacemaker and a diplomat who has lost her mother and whose father, Janice, is quickly dying of a space plague ravaging the universe. Janice hires freelance space pirate Kaya to arrange safe passage back to their homeland and plans to turn himself over to Admiral God, leader of the Council of Pirates in the name of peace. But all does not go according to plan. Kaya's ship is attacked by fellow pirate and Kaya's ex, Derek, who is looking to collect the bounty on Janice himself. With Janice captured, Nadir and Kaya are left to fend for themselves, all while Kaya seeks to recover the memories erased by her father, which she's convinced hold the key to finding the mysterious Morian treasure. Action-packed and quick-witted, Kaya and the Morian Treasure is a journey through the galaxy like readers have never seen before, and the ending is sure to astonish all those who venture into this exciting new universe. Now, Chris, I said a whole lot just then, but let me tell you, I really, really, really enjoyed this book, and it's one that I'm not. I've only read a couple space tale, space adventures in my time. One from Chris Paolini, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, is up there. One of my favorite authors of all time. It's probably the only other space tale adventure I have read. But this one was fun. The only thing I give this one so far, a 3.5 stars out of 5. I loved it. I really did. It's like on the border of 3.5, 4 stars. The only thing that I critique it on is at the beginning it throws a lot of planets, people, and things at you a little bit. I like my hand to be held just a little bit when I'm reading, especially when like new planets. It's throwing a lot at you. It's not just Earth. You got Victalis, you got Arius, you've got I wrote down some. I had to keep some notes just to make sure I was, what I was
Yeah.
reading. Kasari, Clanair, like they throw quite a bit at you at the beginning. But once you grasp the characters and the planets that they were talking about, dude, it's fun. Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. And then the last little bit that I read, I guess like maybe the last 4 or 5 chapters, I didn't put the book down, and that says everything. Because then I was like, I have to know what happens next. It ended such on a cliffhanger, each chapter did, and I was quickly clicking my Kindle, and I was like, okay, I don't want this to end, but I want to keep figuring out what's going on here. And it's fun. It takes place. You're reading Nadir's journal,
Hmm.
and she's telling the tale of Kaya. And so you got the journal starts from where you meet Kaya. You see her on a hill at her mother's funeral, and like she describes this lady's hair changes color based on her emotion. I mean, you don't know that when you're first reading it, but it's like she reads it and I believe she says, her hair was brown and then it turned to blonde and then it turned to jet black. And I'm like, okay, well, there's a new creature going on here, like new humanoid kind of thing. And like you follow this adventure. It turns out her dad had her memories erased to protect the Morian treasure, which her last name is Moria. So it's to protect their treasure. And there's a pretty good twist at the end that I don't think is. They make you believe one thing, which I'm not your average guy, so I think they're trying to misdirect you. But man, it is a fun book. I really do recommend it, especially if you love those space adventure travel things, and if you like Xena Warrior Princess. Definitely read this book. It's a lot of fun.
So how does it? I know you said at the end you couldn't put it down,
Hmm.
but how does it start? All those new names, new people, new planets. Did that kind of was it a bit of a slow start?
It
Because in my experience, that's usually where it
Yeah, it to
bogs
for
down.
the to the mo yeah to the for the most part it was, because like it talked about with the synopsis that if you're reading this and I'm not dead, get out of my stuff. That's how it starts out, and it says this is the journal of my best friend and space adventurer Kaya. My name's Nadir, and it starts off with her mother's funeral.
Uh-huh.
And it trying to goes in, she's like, there's a lot of people here. There's because my dad's a very famous politician. Her dad is he's trying to in this whole galaxy trying to make peace. The space pirates are kind of it's like half and half. Like the space pirates occupy a big chunk of this thing, and he's on the other side, and he's just trying to bring peace. And
Hmm.
so he's already got, and once we get into it a little bit, he's already got a mark on his neck. He's already been targeted for assassination, and he can be hunted down, kind of thing. And like they start off with a lot of so she's on Victalis. I forget the planet that she's from, which is where her father wants her to go. And then they throw in a cargo planet at the beginning as well. And then you're learning all these names at the same time, and it's like I'm like, I'm trying to. It took me a little bit to keep. I mean, I had to write some down. I do that anyways when I'm reviewing things, but I had to write. I had made sure I wrote it down just to make sure. I was like, wait, who is this person again, and why are they important, and who are they related to? But yeah, for the most part, it was a little slow start, but I think once you got on the spaceship, which is maybe 3 or 4 chapters in, it takes off, and it's a fun read.
That's cool, man. So like when when you're reading it, because I know when I did the review for the Sightless City,
Mm-hmm.
was that bad that I had to ask what? But when I was doing that, I could picture it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the descriptions of everything, it made it kind of come to life in my mind. Is this one written very
Yes,
much the same way?
there's some things he leaves more to the imagination, like
Hmm.
some of the people, like trying the Victolites is I believe is what they refer to the people on. Or just I just said the name three or four times on Victalis. Like he doesn't really describe the people, but he describes what they wear, and like they're very slender, long robes, but they didn't really mention their what kind of species they were. He said humanoid, but nothing crazy. Like we're presuming Kaya is humanoid. She's got the hair that changes everything. She's taller than Nadir is. Nadir is your Earthian, is like your humanoid, your class of like you and me, and what you would think. And then some of the space pirates he described as being like big, brutish, with the sharp tails, things like that. But not, but like the spaceships and what you're reading and being described to, yes. But like there are some things like the people and things like that. It's kind of left more to the imagination.
That's
I'd
really
say
cool.
50-50. I'd say it's
Yeah.
pretty descriptive on some things, but the other things it's like I wish I was a little bit more for.
I mean, just from what little you've said about it, um, this is something that I would say would be cool to see live action.
Yes. Oh, dude, this would be a
But
fun like Disney Plus show. I think would be really good, or a because we talk about a lot of networks and what would pick up things. CW would even do really well, cause especially with what they've done with the 100. This would be a really good television show for the CW.
so all the way through though, would is this like a not really all ages, but is it more of like a young adult
I would
and
say
up?
young adult and up more is what I would say. Not
Yeah.
so much a I will say, what is it? Preteen is what before is young adult and adolescence. It's definitely there are some brutal parts. It's
Hmm.
not really sexual or anything like that, but more so violent oriented. But yeah, I said more for young adult for sure, and up.
Cool. I may have to check this out, Tyler.
Dude, it's a good one, and I really enjoy it. And that's what I was telling you before the show is RS started. He either started writing it in '96 or he finished writing this book in 1996. Because at the very end he talks about it. And listen, RS, if you're listening and watching this, don't let it be that long before we get the sequel. Because as it sits right now, May 17th, I need the sequel. I don't like cliffhangers and things like that. I want to know what happens with Kaya and Nadir going forward, and even Hector. All right, I need more Hector in my life. So
Tyler demands it.
I demand it. But ladies and gentlemen, you have to read this book. I really do recommend it. 3.5 stars out of 5 on our scale. So make sure you read Kaya and the Morian Treasure by R.S. Malay. You can find it on Amazon or anywhere you get a book, Barnes & Noble, let's say the Books A Million, places like that. It is already out. Make sure you go read it and let us know what you think. And let us know down in the comments down below what you thought about this or book review. If you want more, let us know there as well. And if there's a book that you think we would like to review, let us know that and we'll review it as well. Thank you so much for listening. Perfect. God, that was, yeah, perfect. Hard stop and everything. All right. So that
Hard
was
stop.
Kaya and the Maureen review. Now, Chris, let's do this next
DC.
one. What, how we
Let's
get?
fix DC.
Oh, Chris, I love it. That's what I'm running with. I was about to say I don't know what to title this. All right, here we go.
They just come to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Every now and again, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
right.
It's
That's what they say, Here we go. And three, two. What's going on, everyone? And welcome back to NerdWide Podcast. This is a special little one-off, one-shoot here we're going to do called Let's Fix DC. Chris, that was a brilliant title. I'm glad you said it. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend and co-host, Chris Rivers. What we're going to do here is we're going to fix DC. And Chris sent me a text message a couple weeks ago. I'm going to read his text, and we're going to go there. We're going to go into it. Let's each bring our ideas to the table for how we would relaunch the DC content in film, TV, and or streaming. What platforms, characters, and then the next week we could bring our casting ideas to those shows and characters that we proposed to the week before. So we're going to do that. But this is the NerdWide podcast. Let's do a little offshoot here, a little episode that we're gonna have a little fun with. Chris, I'm gonna start.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with an obvious one.
Uh-oh.
Let's reboot Superman. Now, this has to be a feature film. I don't need it to be a TV show or anything like that. Although Superman and Lois is doing a great job of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I need that next big Christopher Reeve Superman. I need that next big, even Henry Cavill Superman. They needed to reboot it, but here's the thing though: they have to pick the correct director for it because we've seen all sorts of directors for these things, but they need something that makes you fall in love with Superman. It's not some dark and gritty like Henry Cavill is. Yes, it's fine and it's a great movie. I love that movie, but if they're going to need to do what Marvel has done with their characters, and to me, as personally here, Superman has to be that flagship character like Tony Stark is. He's going to have to be the one to start it all up and get the ball rolling, kind of what they did with Henry Cavill, but they're going to have to fix it, really get in there and make it fun that everyone has to watch it.
Yeah, I think Superman's one of those characters that when you get to the grittier, slightly darker Superman, that only means something if you've gotten the truth, justice, and the
Right.
American
If you've
way
already
Superman.
established you're good, you're just your red and blue Superman.
Right. Yeah.
Who you got?
So, oh, you want me to go
Oh
ahead?
yeah, go ahead. I'm ready for it.
Are you done?
Oh,
Is
that's my
that it?
first one. Oh yeah, I've got
Oh,
more.
okay. So I'll give you my first one. And it's I took a more slow burn approach
Okay.
to this. Um, I would kick it off with an HBO Max series that I called it Timeless, but it would focus on the presence, which is the DC universe, their version of God,
Okay.
and it would be the we would see in the first phase. This would kick off the first phase, and we would see the creation of the DC universe, and we would meet the new gods and stuff to come. But I would start it off with Timeless, with this sense of seeing it all created and meeting the ultimate powers behind everything.
Oh, so that would be awesome. That's something we haven't really seen either, and I
Right.
feel like it'd be a great way to kick it off. Oh, I like it. I even like it more of a. So you're saying a series as well, though.
Yeah, I mean, just because it all kind of lumps together, I'll give you my HBO Max stuff there to kick it off. Would be that series, followed by The Endless, which is Neil Gaiman's characters built around Dream, aka Sandman,
Mm-hmm.
Death, um, the New Gods, which would introduce us to Darkseid.
Yes.
Um, Apocalypse would be another series to just cover that planet. Parliament of Trees, which gives us a foothold to later introduce Swamp Thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh,
We wouldn't meet any of the lanterns we know, but we would see the formation of the Corps
right.
and how it came about because it's very, very old in the universe.
Would you connect all of these together, or would you, or they all be like standalone? How kind of how the DCEU is now.
I kind of did this with an idea of having a character act as like a Nick Fury type
Gotcha.
connection, and I'll touch on who that character is on my
Okay.
next turn.
Okay. So I have. So that's how. Not really so much a Nick Fury character, but I kind of related it to the Tony Stark with Superman. That's how I would kind of get the ball rolling. But along the Superman veins, I am going. My next one is also going to be an HBO Max, and this one I want. I think what would be a great series is a Superboy series. Now, not the Titan Superboy, because not Titan Superboy. Excuse me, because that one's more dark, gritty. Not really. I mean, you're fleshing out a whole team. You're not really fleshing out one character.
Hmm.
I would love for an Arrow type show, but with Superboy, and that would kind of yes, all of my thinking is all of my shows and movies and everything are going to connect, but like kind of how Marvel is doing with their MCU, with their Disney Plus shows and everything. But I would love a Superboy show. He gets introduced in the Superman either 1 or 2 movie, if he gets that far. But it introduces him, and then we take up on the Disney Plus series, kind of like how they did with Hawkeye, and we introduce him with this character. We meet Crypto for the first time, and it's him in a Smallville-ish role. Like Superman, I'm gonna put Henry Cavill for example, is in the show 1 or 2 episodes, but like he's at the Kent farm, but he is a Superboy. It's really similar to a Smallville story, but there's the different dynamic of he knows who his parents are, he knows he's a test tube creation, but he's still going through high school and still becoming Superboy. And then eventually throughout the seasons, it's him going into college and getting the Superboy name and following Clark and Superman. I really would love that show. I mean, we both love Smallville, but I want something close to it, but not quite Smallville. But enough of a different twist and turns of a story-wise that you can do throughout that.
Right. So these are the films from my first phase.
Okay.
We would of course have a Sandman film,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then we would have a Death film, followed by a Dark Sides film,
Right.
and then because he's going to pop up later in some other stuff. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's one of the big villains, and then here's the guy that connects everything. Right,
I'm
he's the
ready
guy
for
that's
it.
going to dip in. He's going to work to coordinate to put teams together, and again, he's around, and his kind are around from the beginning. Finishing out phase one with his own film, Martian Manhunter,
Oh, dude,
who
that would be so good.
and he'll later on, like I said, he'll put some of these teams together. He'll work to kind of recruit people because he can monitor what's going on and
Right.
threats that are coming up.
God, that's genius. Because I mean, like how Zack Snyder's got it, present. Like, 'cause we're not gonna ever see anything from it. Martian Manhunter's there, but it's Batman that assembles the team,
Hmm.
and I that would work really well because even as Supergirl, he kind of assembles the team for kind of sorta. But I mean, because Martian Manhunter would have the expertise. I mean, he's got the interplanetary diplomatic ways and things like that. He can kind of be in the shadows because he can look however he wants to look. And then,
Hmm.
oh, that would be a great, 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 good call.
That's what I thought. I thought, especially being able to look like whoever, and he knows beings on different planets, so he could potentially recruit from those as well.
Right. See, it's on. Oh, that's a good pick. That might be the best one. All right, you win. But first, before you win, though, Chris, I've got another one.
That's it.
We need you kind of mentioned this earlier. We need a decent Green Lantern story. Now,
Hmm.
I would prefer it start with Hal Jordan, the one who sets it all up. Besides, was it Alan Scott? I think is
Hmm.
technically the JLA one. But I'm talking about Hal Jordan. The the ship lands on the planet. He gets the ring. He goes and trains and everything. Because from there, you could branch off to all the new Green Lanterns. I would start off kind of the same way with the Superman stuff. I would start off with its own single movie, but your other characters that you meet in the sequels and threequels and everything are the other characters, and they would get their own not Disney Plus, HBO Max show, and get that real 12 episode. Because listen, we don't do anything less than 10 episodes on these series. All right, none of that 6 episode, 4 episode stuff. We're not doing it. You get all that time to flesh out the characters that got revealed during the show or hinted at during the movies. I mean, and then you could bring them back into the fold to these big Green Lantern Corps issues like I forgot the Fear Ring, the yellow. I forget Sinestro. Like when he starts taking over, obviously that's the first thing, and then he's gonna come back. Like when you got all these different colors of rings, and then you can have your John Stewart's already training. He's working with the Justice League that's already been set up with these Superman movies and properties and other things. I got other ideas, but with Superman and things like that. But I would have it where they have their own shows, but then they can, when you have these big Green Lantern Corps issues, bring them all back in together. And you've already got, you love Hal Jordan because he's had his movies, but you also love Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart, and Jessica Cruz because you've already seen their, a season or two of their show, and you're like, this is Avenger style mashup, and that I'm here for. And that's my next pick.
I like it. I like it because the core is something that there's not just one Green Lantern.
Right. Now there's a lot you can focus on.
And then we find out, of course, later there's yellow and red lanterns and all that. Yeah. Green Lantern's one of those characters I don't think they've, all due respect to Ryan Reynolds, I don't think they've explored him very well.
No, and I think that's something that it's easy. Like we thought they were going to do that in Arrow, but they never did. And like they hinted at it multiple times, but they've never done anything with it. And I'm just like, this is a character that y'all can do so much with, and I just haven't done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up for me, kind of kicking off, I'm using a lot of Marvel terminology.
Oh, you're fine.
Phase 1, Phase 2. But they do it right.
Well, I mean,
so it's hard not to
look at. It's multi-billion-dollar films and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, Volume 1 of Phase 2 for me is kind of built around our first team up. And we do kick it off, though, seeing... Because you've got to foreshadow what's coming. So I have an HBO Max series here for Krypton.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we both love the sci-fi show, you've got to redo this, and you've got to kind of, I think, if we're going back to the beginnings of the DC universe, you have to tell the full story of what happened on Krypton.
Right.
But from there, we come to Earth, right? And we meet some characters that really they haven't done a lot with in recent years because this is most of the team that made up the initial Justice Society of America. So Dr. Fate and Hourman are going to team up on their own show. We're going to get the JSA Sandman. So not Neil Gaiman's dream, but the guy that wears the gas masks and just sprays this gas that puts his enemies to sleep. We're going to get a Spectre film. We're going to have a Gotham series that works in here to kind of start laying the groundwork for Batman.
Yeah, just continue the season from Fox. We'll just keep it going, honestly.
and then we're going to meet the original Atom. We're going to meet Hawkman, both on HBO Max. And then we get an Alan Scott Green Lantern film, a Jay Garrick Flash film, all leading into the JSA film. And at that point, I left out two of the other founding members of the JSA, Batman and Superman, for a reason. They will pop up in the JSA film near the end, but not right away.
Right.
So it'll be like cameos. So that's Volume 1 of Phase 2. Just setting up the first team that's going to kind of chain reaction lead to everything that's coming down the pipe.
Oh, I love it. See, I love it. It just gets me excited. I wish we had money and new people because we could really set these things up.
Right.
So my next one, and this is my last one that I've really fleshed out and thought of. I've got a lot of things in my brain, but this is my last one I've really sat down and thought about here because I would love, we've all seen Wonder Woman and the second one, which shall not be named, and there's one character in there that's could be a great prequel. See, I haven't really thought if I want it to be a show or if I want it to be a movie first.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather for it to be a show first and just be a one season, one and done, and then shoots off into Wonder Woman. But I want us to focus on the island, Themyscira, and I want to focus on her mother. Hippo, I'm always butchering this lady's name. It's Hippolyta, whichever her name. I can never remember how to pronounce her name correctly.
Just call her Hippo.
Hippo. So,
That was her in Moon Knight.
Towelette. Yes. But I would want to focus on her before she became the queen of the island. And then, but in the final episode, the finale is her making Wonder Woman. Because, she's made from clay with Zeus's lightning and everything else. But I want to see that story of Themyscira, of battling the gods and helping the gods, and then her becoming the queen of the island, and then ending up with Wonder Woman. I think that'd be such a great and just a fun story to go through, because there's a lot that happened before Wonder Woman was born, and before she became strong. And I want to see that and see the island of Themyscira be fleshed out and made to what we know it is today. I think it'd be a phenomenal prequel series.
I agree. I think given that kind of background too, instead of trying to shoehorn it into a movie.
Right. And you don't have to follow up because you've already seen it.
Yeah. Volume 2 on Phase 2 here. I have 4 HBO Max series. We have The Spirit, which they famously made the Alec Baldwin. Was it Baldwin that was in the... No, that was The Shadow, right? Anyway, The Spirit gets his own HBO Max series. And then we give Martian Manhunter a series. He got a film before to kind of lay his groundwork, but here he is in series form. Then we're going to do an Arkham series.
Awesome.
Again, building the Batman background here. But then we're going to do a series as well for the Black Dragon Society from DC Comics, just to set up one of our villains.
Mm-hmm.
The films out of this volume are Superman, where he's going to face Zod. That's going to be his primary antagonist. Batman, who we're going to see Harvey Dent become Two-Face.
Okay.
Because it times out well.
Right.
A young Batman could be there at the same time as Harvey Dent, and then the accident. And then we get the second JSA movie.
And that's how you would end that phase, is with the second JSA?
Yeah, because what happens here with the second JSA is the whole time through the first JSA and on into the second, Martian Manhunter is trying to recruit Batman and Superman. Because really, if you look around, some of those members of the original JSA, they're not they're heroes, but they're not super powered beings. So he knows that this team isn't going to work as it's constructed. And through the Black Dragon Society, and there would be another villain in the film, he knows that it's going to be a struggle. Batman and Superman are finally convinced to join, but it's too late. Dr. Fate, Our Man, Sandman, the original Atom, the original Flash, the original Green Lantern, all wiped out. And so now you have the guilt of, because their excuse would be, we've got our own things to worry about. Superman's in Metropolis, Batman's in Gotham, they've got their own issues. They can't take the time to team up and fight this other thing. There's other people that can help. And now they realize they've got to find the time, because these people's deaths are kind of on their hands. And so that's how JSA 2 ends, and that spawns the next major phase, which is leading to the Justice League.
Oh, you've got it down to a science, and I absolutely love it.
I told you, I went down the rabbit hole on this. Do you want to go next with?
That's all I've deep dived into. I just want to listen to all of yours, because I am all in, dude. Because that with the second JSA movie, because you could set it up that way. Like, even the climax is everyone dying, right? And then somehow, Martian, Superman, and Batman become victorious, and then that's like your end of your movie, your climax and everything is the guilt that you're talking about, and they're saying we have to make this work. We can't let this happen again. And then credits, and then
Yeah.
the like that's your next phase is building this team, and then which I'm sure it sounds like the third phase, his last movie is going to be Justice League, and you kind of go from there. But I'm all in. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that's it also sets up the expectation with the audience.
Right,
These characters are going to die. Like it's there is no coming back.
right.
Um, I did take a small detour, just a very minor phase before we go right back into the superheroes here. Swamp Thing's going to get his own movie,
Okay.
which potentially sets up him kind of coming in to help out later on with some JLA stuff. Death 2 is going to get her own movie. And what I thought with that is it'd be very cool to have her interact with maybe Superman or Batman, um, because they're still feeling that guilt
Mm-hmm.
and they're having this conversation with Death herself on, why? Why did these people have to? And in the midst of all that, we introduce for the first time over on HBO Max Constantine
Mm.
and Doom Patrol.
Right.
So we start getting sort of that element. We introduce them. We're not going to do anything with them for a minute on a regular basis. Then we go into phase three. Themyscira, we
Mm-hmm.
have a series for that. Atlantis gets its own
Oh, see.
HBO Max series,
Right.
followed by Green Arrow, and then Argus.
Oh, Argus. Oh, see, that'd be such a good one because I mean, you could Agents of Shield it. You know what I mean?
Uh
And
huh.
that would be a good one.
And that would be, I think, mainly Martian Manhunter putting the word out to the people within the government saying, hey, I need help.
Right.
I can only be so many places at once. And that's part of the fallout as well from JSA 2. And then you get the films. Now we meet Hal Jordan's Green Lantern because he goes to the Green Lantern Corps. I need another one.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody else. We get Barry Allen's Flash, not Ezra Miller. We we
It's
get our
obvious.
Wonder we get our Wonder Woman and Aquaman movies.
Right, because
And
we've already set up their worlds and their quote unquote prequel and stuff like that.
yeah.
Oh.
And that's it for that volume of that phase. But then we go into Superman and Batman's worlds. Catwoman and Poison Ivy get their own HBO Max series because that's one thing I loved about Gotham
Mm-hmm.
is that they were friends. They knew each other as kids growing up. So you get that sort of they each come up together, but then they kind of diverge a little bit when Ivy has her accident and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lex Luthor gets his own series.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. In the film, well, I'll finish out HBO Max. Lois Lane gets her own series, and Penguin gets his own series. Also, Joker's going to get his own series. Now, with Joker, you don't know what origin story to tell, right?
Right.
Because there's so many. And that's kind of the appeal of the character. No one really knows where this guy came from. So I thought, did you ever read the Joker Puzzle Box comics?
Mm-mm.
It's a series that they did recently, and a crime's been committed. And over these issues, Joker is being interviewed by the GCPD. They're convinced he did it, but he's saying he didn't. And he
Mm.
keeps giving, like, there's variations of tales that he's telling. And so I kind of spun that here. The whole series takes place in Arkham. Joker's already in Arkham. And he's being quizzed on his past. Uh, the GCPD is trying to unravel the mystery of who's bombing Gotham, who's got all these traps, and they think it's him. They think he has an accomplice. And he's sitting there, and we see him initially being interviewed by a psychiatrist. At the end of the series, in the last scene, we figure out this psychiatrist that's been interviewing him and supposedly trying to get this information for the GCPD is Harley Quinn.
Mm,
And you get her reveal. And by the end of her interviews with him, she's bought in.
right.
She's now going to flip. The films from that volume are the second Batman. Maybe he takes on Riddler and Freeze.
Right.
Superman 2, where he could take on Bizarro. And then you're finally your Justice League movie, which
It's been
leads to this.
culminating the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And then I started the next phase, but by that point it was really it was
We're
really
already a
getting
14
involved.
page document now.
So so I went Wonder Woman 2 with more Phase 4 stuff to be Suicide Squad, maybe Batgirl, Birds of Prey, Robin, Legends,
Mm,
Titans, Shazam, the second JLA movie.
yeah.
But
God, I love it.
I don't know, man.
I mean, listen, Chris, I don't know a
It's
lot of things, but I think, I, not to not to be boastful here. Mine's pretty great, but yours is honestly next level kind of things, and I would be 100% all in on everything you just said. And I'm gonna say right now, Chris, you just fixed the DC. Ladies and
well,
gentlemen, this has been. Go ahead.
you gotta have somebody to run it.
Right. I mean, you have to have that vision, that Kevin Feige mind all the way out there, and
Berlanti.
Berlanti, and here we are. But now we know because Chris fixed it and he's got the plans for it. And if things start happening like that, we are suing. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this was the NerdWide podcast for the little DC Let's Fix the DC offshoot here. If you enjoyed it, let us know what you thought down below. Let us know how you would fix the DC by letting us know down in the comments, or email us at nerdwide@gmail.com and we'll read it on the air how you plan to fix the DC. But until then, stay tuned for our next episodes of the NerdWide podcast, and we'll see you then. That was great. I loved it. Even Fury liked it so much, he's in here with me. All right, Chris. No TV shows to review this week, but we did have some news. This first story, I don't really. There's
Wait
a
a
lot
minute.
we can say with it, but it's
We
not.
got to do our what you've been watching.
Oh, God, I'm jumping all over the place. Chris, listen, I have started a show that my wife has been trying to get me to watch ever since I've known her. And it's a little show that I don't think really went places called The Fringe. J.J.
Ooh,
Abrams was a
I
creator,
like it.
executive producer.
Joshua Jackson, right?
Yes. And I am on episode 6 or 7 of the first season, and I'm really trying to get into it. It's an easy show just to watch while I'll have on while I'm working. But if I pay attention to it too much, it takes me out of it. And it was made in 2009, and I have to put my mindset into it. But it's like a lot of this stuff I can't really get heavy into. But it's one of those that you can passively watch it. You can have it on and just not really pay attention to. And then I finished All American up until season 4 is on TV now. But I'm all caught up on it, and I just want more of it. But anyways, that's what I've been watching. Chris, what have you been watching?
You're gonna be very proud of me, Tyler.
Oh, I'm excited.
I watched the first 2 seasons of The Boys.
What do you think? You all in?
I'm all in.
I told you, man.
There's some characters that I was very happy that oh crap, now I'm forgetting her name. She used to be Liberty. Um,
See, it's been so
Stormfront.
long. I don't remember much of their names anymore.
Stormfront.
Yeah,
Uh, I was
that
very
that
glad
was a fun character.
it was. I felt like they rushed getting rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right when they revealed everything about her past, they killed her off.
Yep.
There was no fallout from it. There was nothing with. I felt like that would have been a good arc to have her hauled into Senate hearings and
Mm-hmm.
all of this, and actually we're going to make an example out of these superheroes.
Right.
especially after word leaked that they were spoilers, by the way, for people that.
Yeah, this is 2 years, a year and a half old now at this point.
But especially after people found out that these heroes are not born this way.
Mm-mm.
They're fed a chemical
Mm-hmm.
as infants and as kids. Um, Homelander is messed up.
Dude, he is.
He,
I
he's got
think my
so many
favorite
issues.
scene from that whole season is him with his son on top of the roof trying to teach him to fly. And he just pushes him. The kid just falls. I don't know why, but I laugh so hard every time I see it.
He didn't have
Oh,
parents. He
God.
grew up in the lab, so he doesn't know how to interact.
Right.
And it in that sense it's sad, right? But then like
He just wants
the
mommy's milk, Chris. That's all he wants. He just wants mommy's milk.
that and that scene got me where he had so he killed
Oh, God.
Elizabeth Shue's character. Damn. Um she was running the group. I can't think of the character name, but Elizabeth Shue plays the part. And he kills her at the end of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Brutally, by the way.
Right.
And then at the beginning of season 2, he has saved some of her breast milk. And he uses his heat vision to heat it up, and he just
Oh,
sticks his
it's
tongue down in
so
there.
bad, dude. It's so bad.
Oh God, this guy has issues. I don't know what to think at this point about the Huey character. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, I could,
Right. I think that's how they write him, though. I love Jack Quaid and the way he plays him.
yeah, it's the character, and I'm done with the deep. I'm done with A Train, and
The deep
unfortunately,
storyline for season 2 is it went places, and I'm like, the whole cult and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm not a big fan of it. And that's
no,
like my second other scene is him getting gilled. It's the
yeah,
funniest thing.
that girl just sticks her
It's
hand
just,
down in the gills, and it's like,
it's so
she's
gross.
like, it hurts.
Yeah, you like that? Oh, it hurts.
It's
Oh
just,
man.
oh God, but yeah, I mean, I find it odd that which I know it was done this way intentionally, but you have this whole Homelander storyline with the milk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's even extended to regular milk,
Yep.
like just any kind of milk at this point. And then, of course, one of your anti-hero, or not, one of your anti-superhero characters is Laz Alonso's mother's milk.
Yep.
So that's gonna play into this at some point. It's got to, or they've
So
just dropped
good.
the ball. Uh, Speaking of which, though, this showed up the other day. Um, it's can I get it? Is it gonna?
Oh, how'd that show up? Where'd you get that from?
It came from a shop. They sent 2 copies, so one of these is going to be yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
Um,
That's exciting.
but yeah, it's issue 1 of the boys' Hero Gasm.
Such a great name.
So, so yeah.
Well, that's
Um,
pretty cool.
but I dig the series. We talked beforehand. We're gonna actually make it one of the series that we review.
Yeah, definitely not child appropriate, ladies and gentlemen, because it's gonna get raunchy,
No,
and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
no. I mean, we'll clean it up a little bit.
Right.
But I
The
don't know. Like some of the characters though are just hopefully which the way they left season 2. Hopefully, uh, Billy Butcher's back because he's
he is.
a favorite,
Yeah. No,
a
he
favorite for
he
sure.
even gets superpowers in the
I
third season.
hated that. I hated that Becca got killed off
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like they needed to do more for his arc
Right.
with her. Um, yeah,
Dude, it's
I wish they'd do more with Maeve. They
yeah.
haven't done
They
as
kind of
much.
they kind of set it up like they were gonna do more with her in season 2, but
Uh-huh.
didn't really. She still stayed that D story character, and I'm right
Yeah.
there with you. I'm hoping in season 3. I mean, there's a lot of characters to focus on, but I feel like hers, like she was having that very subtle flip more
Mm.
so than like Starlight, or I think her name is Starlight is her character's name.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so the season 3 trailer came out this past week, and actually came out yesterday, Monday, and it looks crazy. Like it's going to be fun.
Well, season 2 kicks off with the plane crash,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really the moment. I mean, Maeve she wasn't like in Homelander before,
Right.
but this is the moment where she's like, "We're not doing what we say we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is screwed up. This isn't right." But she can't just walk away.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm curious to see where they take it. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
it's
the trailer yet, so
you need to, once we get done with this one, watch the trailer and text me because it's good, and there's going some crazy places like spoilers if you're not wanting to listen to the trailer or watch the trailer, but Butch gets superpowers,
okay.
and like it's the whole big thing, he's all down with the soups, but then becomes a soup, and then of course you've got Jensen Ackles. I forgot his character's name right now, but like the original Captain America,
Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy, and it looks so good. But like the trailer starts out with Homelander doing a bunch of interviews saying, "Well, I just fell in love with the wrong girl. Alf just fell in love with the wrong girl. Love sucks. I just didn't know her character when we first started dating, stuff like that." And just trying to spin it with what's her name, spin that he was the good guy and
Yeah.
not didn't know she was messed up and everything like that. Trying to get his public image back up, and he makes some crazy faces that just let you know that he's definitely gonna be psychotic this season, and I
Yeah.
can't wait for
Well,
it.
yeah, the way he ended season 2 wasn't exactly fun to watch. I mean, I can do anything I want,
it's,
and he's
so,
standing on that.
it's so good. Oh, I have to rewatch both seasons before season 3 comes out in a couple of weeks, because dude, that
And,
show is so good.
and just real quick, the season 1 death of A Train and Poplock's landlord,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it wouldn't have been, it would not have been worth it.
no.
I'm just saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to another. Our first news story here is another Amazon show. Jack Ryan is going to end with season 4, but a spinoff could be on the horizon. I'm going to IGN.com by Adele Unkers for this one. Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, starring John Krasinski, reportedly concluded its run with the upcoming 4th season, while Amazon is eyeing a spinoff centered around another character. According to Deadline, Krasinski has committed to 4 seasons of Jack Ryan when he signed on for the title of the role in the Prime Video action series. Krasinski has already filmed the 3rd season, which does not have a release date, and production is now said to be underway on the 4th season. After that, there are reportedly no plans to continue the series. While Jack Ryan is on its way out, Amazon is said to be eyeing a potential spin-off series headlined by Michael Pena, who will be reportedly stars Domingo Ding Chavez, a major character from the Tom Clancy Literacy universe, having appeared in 22 novels. We've got our theories. I'm not going to really go into it too much. After this week, though, if you have not seen Multiverse of Madness, you have been warned. So that's all I'm going to put there.
Yeah.
This next one, a lot of upfronts was this past week, and it brought some heartbreaks and some little bit of hopes of joy. Here are the shows being brought back and were ordered that kind of relates to us. Upload season 3 is getting Upload is getting its new season with season 3. The Supernatural prequel series, The Winchesters, got greenlit. Walker Independence. These are all ordered. Excuse me. The Winchesters got ordered. Walker Independence, which is a spinoff from the Walker Show, got ordered, and then Gotham Knights got ordered. So a lot of good supernatural news there for all your characters and actors and actresses for that one. But Gotham Knights, I'm glad got ordered because I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And then I've got a fun little Reddit thread here I've got on my phone. Let me see if I've got I don't have the Redditor who posted this. So this was everything that got canceled. This is everything going on CW as of right now. In the Dark on CBS is ending with season 4. Kung Fu got renewed for season 3. Legacies canceled after 4 seasons. Legends of Tomorrow got canceled after 7 seasons. Nancy Drew got renewed for season 4. Riverdale renewed for season 7, but its end is near. Roswell, New Mexico, ending with season 4. Stargirl, awaiting word on season 4. We're waiting on season 3 to air. Supergirl ended with its sixth and final season. Superman and Lois renewed for season 3. Walker was renewed for season 3. All American Homecoming was renewed for season 2. The 4400 canceled this week. Naomi canceled this week. Tom Swift premieres May 31st. I'm sorry, I went backwards here. All American was renewed. Batwoman was canceled. Charmed, the new show, canceled after 4 seasons. Dynasty canceled after 5 seasons. The Flash was renewed for season 9, but its end is near as well. In the Dark, ending with season 4, which is yet to air. And I read the other ones. So they canceled a lot. I think as it's said and done, all the shows that have been on the air, I think only 8 of them are coming back after
This
this.
is definitely the Discovery influence
Yeah,
because Warner Brothers never did this before. Now they canceled shows,
right.
but you were pretty well guaranteed if you got your show ordered that you were going to get at least 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're just
Yeah,
like,
this
yeah, we're not doing this.
we're definitely getting the Discovery buyout, like their hands in it, because that they canceled a lot of shows these past 2 weeks,
Mm.
and I mean a
They
lot
didn't
of I
order
thought were
that many
popular.
either,
Uh-uh.
right?
So
So what are they going to do with the remaining time slots?
I don't know. I don't know, and it makes you wonder with some of these other shows like The Flash, how long does it really have? Riverdale, how long is it really? I know
Right.
the Riverdale cast doesn't really want to be there anymore, but I mean, what else do you do? So what happens to those time gaps, those time slots? So
Right.
next story I've
Maybe
got.
this next thing.
That's true. HBO Max Discovery Plus will be combined into one service. I'm going to Variety.com by Jennifer Moss for this one. Discovery, which is about to become Warner Brothers Discovery within the next month when its merger with AT&T's Warner Media closes, has confirmed its plans to combine its current streaming service Discovery Plus and Warner Brothers HBO Max into one service rather than offer the two platforms as a bundle. Discovery CFO Gunnar Weidenfels, who will also serve as CFO of the newly combined Warner Bros. Discovery, said Monday during the Deutsche Bank 30th Annual Media, Internet, and Telecom Conference that Discovery is making preparations to combine the two streamers, marking the first time the company has actually revealed its post-merger strategy for Discovery Plus and HBO Max, amid speculation they could remain solo platforms. Interesting. So I wonder if, because we're both HBO Max subscribers, I wonder if our prices are going to go up, or do you think they'll stay the same?
I think they'll increase. I think I looked into it and something with adding, because they said they're still going to have an ads option and an ad-free option.
Okay.
Adding the two ad-free options for the services together right now, it comes out to like 22 or something like that a month. So they'll probably be like 16 a month.
Mm. Trying to stay up with them Netflix numbers.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a lot of content.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying before that we recorded too. Like all the HBO Max stuff I added to my list. I didn't realize it was even on HBO Max. Like I've
Uh-huh.
got Big Bang Theory on there. I've always wanted to. I've told you this multiple times in the past, but I've always wanted to go from start to finish of that show because whenever I watch it on TV, it was never watching it, in subsequent order. It was always just
Right.
all over the place, and I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do that. So, and now I have the chance to do so. Next news story I've got here: Marvel's MODOK canceled on Hulu after 1 season. That's the Patton Oswalt show. Obviously,
That didn't last long.
no, obviously did not do well. Next one I've got here: Netflix's Geeked Week will be on June 6th through 10th. I really enjoyed it last year, and I'm really going to enjoy it this year because that leads right into when Microsoft is doing their press conference for
Uh-huh.
what would be E3 that June 10th. So I'm going to have a fun little end of week, early weekend gift there because Geek Week they did a whole bunch of stuff with Cobra Kai and a bunch of the shows that I really enjoy. The Witcher. And then this next
Right.
one came out, premiere right before we started recording. She-Hulk trailer has dropped. The show debut is August 17th. And Chris, I do believe this show is a 10-episode
Yeah.
TV show. So,
Yeah, it is.
and it looks great. A lot of Mark Ruffalo, Hulk, and I didn't realize it was going to be that much. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this show as much as I thought, but I'm more hyped to watch this one than I am to Miss Marvel at this point. Oh, as of this, watching the trailer,
Yeah.
I'm in it.
Yeah. The trailer, you definitely got to check the trailer out. We reported a month or two ago that there were all these concerns because people were saying that it wasn't going to be good and all
Hmm.
this. And from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Like there's times where she's in the courtroom as She-Hulk,
Hmm.
but also as herself. So I don't know if she's
I don't know how they're going to
there's
do that. I'm not.
there,
I'm familiar with Jessica Walters and She Hulk, but I'm also not that familiar with it. So like to
yeah.
me, I thought she couldn't come out of She Hulk, but
No, she can't. Well, and there's a good chunk of the trailer at the very beginning is Bruce. He's got her in this containment cell.
hmm,
And he's trying to teach her how to control it.
right.
And of course, she turns into She-Hulk and she walks over and rips the door
It's
off. And he's
so
like, "No,
funny.
no, no, no,
They
no, no."
said no, 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 no.
So
They also confirmed, Fandom confirmed, I don't know where or how, but Wong will be in this TV series as well. I don't know for how many episodes, but he has been confirmed to be in the show.
that's interesting
Mm-hmm. It's your new Samuel L. Jackson is what it is.
because she's a lawyer
Right.
and she's going to be trying cases tied to superhumans.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is awesome. That's like, that's such a cool idea for a television show. And
Uh-huh.
finally, we're getting something with 10 episodes and not
But it makes
six.
sense when they have these battles. Look at all that property
Mm-hmm.
damage.
I mean, they can be
They would
sued.
yeah, they
They're
would have
citizens.
to. Yeah.
The releases these next 2 weeks because I will be taking an anniversary trip for this next episode, so we'll be off for a 2 week hiatus. But I'll make sure to put everything in. Thursday, May 26th, Pokemon Master Journeys, the series part 3 comes on Netflix. That's mainly for me. Friday, May 27th, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new series launches on Disney Plus. Same day, May 27th, Stranger Things, the new season comes out on Netflix.
Word.
Chris, we are an hour into the show, and we're just now done with TV.
Well,
We had fun. We had a lot of fun, though.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And we're still gonna have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're on to movies. So have you watched anything else? We watched two movies for this week. Have you watched anything else?
No, just these two.
Yeah, same for me. Of course, a lot of my time was spent getting caught up on the boys when I had time to watch stuff, which, you know, that was definitely worth it. So
Oh yeah,
I'm all in.
I'm so glad you caught up on that.
Uh, so our first movie review here is U.S. Marshal. And we decided to review this one for the show because it was getting news attention. This was from 1998. Stars Tommy Lee. I mean, I've got to pull up the cast here
I've
because
got it pulled up right now.
this was an all-star cast. I mean, you had Tommy Lee Jones, you have Robert Downey Jr., you have Daniel Roebuck, um, you have
Wesley
uh,
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, Joe Pantoliano, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
is his. I'm so used to just calling him Joey Pants. Um, Pantoliano. Um, who else did we have here that popped for me? There was somebody
Tom
else that I
Wood.
saw.
I had Daniel
Uh,
Roebuck.
yeah, Daniel Roebuck jumped out as well. Um, but it's just it popped for some reason. No one knew why. It showed
I
up on
still don't know
Netflix.
why.
It showed up on Netflix and it became their number one movie. And everybody was like, "Why is this getting like?" We talked about it, and the first thing I did when I heard it is I Googled like Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Downey Jr.'s, hoping that they hadn't passed away because normally that's the sort of thing that spikes a movie like that. And luckily they had not. It just no one knows why. No
Right.
one knows why
It's
that
it's
movie.
still at number 9 right now.
That's wild. So this is kind of I don't know if it was an official follow-up because I can't remember The Fugitive that well, but I think it was because Tommy Lee Jones is a U.S. Marshal in that chasing Harrison Ford's Dr. Sam Shepard. Um, but in this case, we see them wrap up a case to start the movie, and they kind of take their victory lap, and then suddenly he gets assigned on a prisoner transport that Wesley Snipes is on,
Mm-hmm.
and someone tries to kill one of the other prisoners, tries to kill Wesley Snipes, mid-flight, and a hole gets blown into the side of the
It's
plane.
so ridiculous.
And the guy that tried to kill Wesley Snipes gets sucked out, and they manage to stabilize the plane. But then they realize that they've lost two engines, and the plane's going down. There's not an airport nearby, so they have to land on a roadway. And they think they have enough road, but it's made worse because they don't account for the telephone poles. So they're just knocking down all these poor people that live around there. They're not going to have power for weeks. And they they run out of road. They skid off the road down an embankment. The plane goes into the water, and everybody is trying to get out because, obviously you don't want to drown. Some of these guys, even though they're on death row, got to save their lives so we
Mhm.
can kill them later. Um, and Tommy Lee Jones will not leave anybody behind. The guys are like, "You got to get out of here! Come on, leave them!" And they're still because they're upside down.
Mhm.
And he looks, and you just see their feet, and the rest of them are underwater. And he's trying to unlock everybody that he can. Uh, Meanwhile, Wesley Snipes, we've met his girlfriend at this point, and I think she has the best line in the movie because he's involved in a crash at the beginning, um, and she goes to get him out of the hospital, and they're like, "Well, you have to pay the bill," and she's told how much the bill is, and she's like, "With all the taxes that you Americans pay, your health care should be free." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yes,
Yeah.
exactly."
Here we are. What? 23 years later. Yes. So we're in the exact same boat.
St- Nothing's changed.
Right.
Um, so the rest of the movie is them hunting down Wesley Snipes' character. Robert Downey Jr. is brought in by the FBI because he is an agent. Snipes' character is thought to have killed two of his fellow agents. I don't want to reveal the ending in case people haven't seen it, like exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But Robert Downey Jr. He's really good in this,
Yes.
and it's interesting to know this came out in '98, so he's roughly 10 years away from that career boost he gets from Iron
Mm-hmm.
Man and the first Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. So, um, but he ends up with a really great performance by the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I loved it. It was a fun watch.
Yes.
It's You don't really have to lock in on it. If you're wanting to sit there and have something fun to watch while you're doing something else, you can throw this on. Um, it's fairly easy to follow. A lot of movies back then did that, where they give you an ending that you may or may not see coming, but they're not gonna require you to keep your eyes glued to
Mm-hmm.
the TV the whole time. Um, Tommy Lee Jones is great in this. Fantastic. Um, Joey Pants. I kept waiting for him to get killed,
Yeah.
just because it seems like he gets killed in so much stuff. And I was just like, he's gonna get it here. Nope, didn't happen. He's gonna get it here. Nope, didn't happen. One of the team does get killed,
Which I
and
thought was a misdirect. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought it was a misdirect.
yeah,
So,
but love the movie.
because he had plenty of time to tell who killed him,
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, so they're gonna do this. He's going to die, and then come back at the end after they trap the killer. But
yeah,
listen,
because we never actually saw him
mm-mm.
die. We hear from the ambulance people, EMTs, that he died, but you don't ever.
Right? They just kind of walk off. That was it. And I was like, okay, he's still alive. Unless I see a body, he's still alive. Um, I loved this movie. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd, and I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did. I watched it last Friday, and I texted you when I was watching it, and I said, I can't believe I'm enjoying this as much as I am. And I was like, this is one that if it came on TV, I'm gonna watch again. If ever I have time and it's around, I'm going to watch it again because it's so good. Tommy Lee Jones, Wesley Snipes, Robert Downey Jr., all three of them like were so fun and so well done and well acted. And this is a young Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
and I was like, this is good, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it 3.5. I really liked it, but I feel like we're kind of spoiled with the way movies are done now,
Mm-hmm.
where they pay way more attention to detail than what they have in the past. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, if that same movie were made today, I think it would still be really good if you had a cast like that. But I think it'd probably be a little bit longer,
Yeah.
and they would probably add a few more twists and turns to it that would
Well, that was like with
heighten
this
the.
one. I sat down. I said, "Oh, 2 hours." I said, "Oh, that's a." So I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and I couldn't stop. Like I was supposed to be working, and
But
I was like, I was watching more of the movie.
But I'll agree with you. Like if I were gonna sit there and I were gonna pick out, say, 10 Robert Downey Jr. movies, for instance, to watch outside of the MCU, to just run through of his, this would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no doubt about it that this is a fantastic movie. It's just I see why people were watching it.
Yeah,
I just don't know how they
I
found it.
just don't know why.
Like what this shows up on Netflix and everybody's like, "Oh, we got to watch U.S. Marshal." I'm like,
Right. I don't know what
huh?
what algorithm did that, but they did a good job.
Yeah,
Because now I've
yeah.
got a one of
Um,
my new favorite '90s movies for sure. U.S. Marshals.
Absolutely. Second movie that we watched, kind of follow up from 3 weeks ago, I think. Sherlock Holmes 2,
Mm-hmm.
Game of Shadows. Um, I love this. I did give it 3.5 stars, right on par with U.S. Marshals. Um, but Jude Law, Robert Downey Jr. are back. We get Rachel McAdams back, albeit briefly. Um, Stephen Fry is in this. And the scene where he's just strolling around naked.
Yeah, just what was the butler's name? Oh god, I can't remember the butler's
I
name.
can't remember. I can't remember the
Oh god,
butler.
I'm gonna find it.
But he just keeps walking past. He won't stop.
Right.
He keep he he's leaving the room and he calls him back in because he's got a tray with I guess tea on it, and he keeps walking. And Stephen Fry's talking to what's her name, uh,
Kelly Riley.
Watson's.
Yeah, Mary Watson.
Yeah, he's talking to her, and the guy just keeps walking all the way to the other end of the room. He's like, "Where are you going?" It's like he doesn't want to stop because you're naked.
Right.
Um, this is a fun movie though. You have Moriarty and
Which is near
Holmes
his arch villain.
main, yeah, and they're going toe to toe. Um, I just, I'm trying to think. It's been a few days, but it's basically just the two of them trying to outsmart one another
Mm-hmm.
along the way. And Moriarty's behind all this.
He was behind the first movie as well.
Yeah, and so it does cost Rachel McAdams' character though.
Mm-hmm.
She goes by. He gave her an advanced strain of tuberculosis.
That's nutty. Again, another misdirect. I thought she was going to come back to life, and because it's when we were watching this one, I was like, I've watched this several times. I just don't remember. I remember the first half. I didn't remember the end of it. For some reason, I could not remember the whole end of this movie.
But I did think it was funny that because in the film, Watson, Jude Law's character Watson, marries his fiancee Mary,
Mm-hmm.
appropriately named, and he shows he shows up to the church. He went to his bachelor party the night before, which was apparently up to Holmes to plan, which was
Mm.
a mistake because he doesn't plan anything.
No.
And Jude Law ends up Watson ends up getting into a fight, and he's limping into the church. Holmes tries to straighten his sleeve on his jacket, and it rips off. So he's got like one sleeve missing, so he has to put on another jacket over that. And he hasn't shaved. He looks like he's drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
she
woken
doesn't
up like 5 minutes prior.
yeah, she doesn't realize it till she looks him in the eyes when he lifts her veil, and she looks at him and then looks at Holmes. Like,
Yeah, Holmes is way back in the back. He's not even sitting down.
it's funny though. It's got a lot of good moments. It's got some good action. It's got a lot of this. I love the scene where Holmes is he's doing that thing where he thinks through the
Hmm.
fight, and he's thinking through what he's going to do to Moriarty. And Moriarty's like in his head and says, "You think you're the only one that can do this?"
Right. And then
And
it starts him doing it. It's so
yeah,
good. Like it's I gave this one a 3.5 stars. I'm trying to think if I like this one better than the first one, or if the first one still stands out to me.
I
But
think they're
this,
about on par with one another.
yeah, that's about where I'm at because like this has a lot of good fun scenes. The train scene, awesome, like just fantastically awesome. Moriarty is an awesome, like a fantastic villain when like what he's trying to do, what he's trying to set up, essentially setting up World War II
Yeah,
and just to make a profit off of it. And the I don't the what happens at the end, and then the what's revealed at the end is really exciting and sets up the show that he's going to Robert Downey Jr. is producing and write well not writing but producing with this company and everything. But he just puts a question mark on the end of the book page, and I was like, "That's
hmm
so genius!" And like, if you go back and watch, the character is sitting there the whole time. It's
hmm
fancy camera work, but you can see that character is there, and it's just so funny to me, but so dickish. It just cracks me up. And like he goes, "Mary, who sent this parcel? Did he look like a normal postman? Are you sure it was our postman?" So just stupid stuff like that. So funny.
and they foreshadow it earlier in the movie.
Yes, like almost to a T. It's
Yeah.
so good.
So yeah, 3.5 for me. Um, I kind of wish they'd just go ahead and make another one,
I
but I
I
don't know
want
if
one.
that's in the. So next week we're going to review on the next podcast, so it will be a little over a week from when this one comes out,
Mhm.
right? Um, Now You See Me, which neither of us have seen. So when when we watch it, now we'll have seen it.
Now it'll be now
Uh,
we've seen it.
and that's going to be on Amazon. So if you'd like to watch along, so to speak, first news article comes from Deadline and Justin Kroll. Dune Part 2, Christopher Walken to play the Emperor in sequel for Legendary and Warner Brothers. Um, Denis Villeneuve is adding another high-profile talent to an already loaded cast. As sources tell Deadline, Christopher Walken is set to play the Emperor in Warner Brothers and Legendary's Dune Part 2. Walken joins the all-star ensemble that includes Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, and Josh Brolin, who are all expected to reprise their roles, as well as Florence Pugh and Austin Butler, aka Elvis, who were also recently announced. Villeneuve is back to write, direct, and produce.
This is awesome news. Like this is perfect, and I cannot wait. Like this came out of left field last week, and I was like, yeah, I am all in on this casting.
I still think my favorite walk-in role is the Headless Horseman in Sleepy Hollow.
Balls of Fury.
Yeah,
Balls of Fury. Yeah.
have you ever seen Sleepy Hollow?
No, that's probably
That's
why.
yeah. Also from Deadline and Justin Kroll, who apparently has been busy. Um, Fast 10 or Fast X. I don't know how they actually want that pronounced. It's always confusing when they do that stuff. Jack Reacher star Alan Ritchson, who I don't really associate with Jack Reacher. I associate with Hawk
Aquaman.
on
Or
Titans.
or Hawk. Yeah.
Joins next installment in Fast and Furious franchise. Um, I'm just going to call it Fast X.
Mm.
The 10th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise looks to have rounded out its all-star cast with Alan Ritchson, breakout star of the new Jack Reacher series from Amazon Prime Video. Ritchson joins as the pick just set Louis Leterrier. Is that right?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, to replace Justin Lin as director. The film's in production with Vin Diesel and the core Fast cast returning alongside franchise newcomers Jason Momoa and Brie Larson. So
It's gonna be a fun movie. I mean, these movies
it,
are supposed to be fun, but you're adding in a lot of characters that I care a lot about, a lot of
I think
actors that I care about, and just why
I
don't you
think
go ahead and add another one?
I think I've seen one or two of the movies.
Oh, so we've got them. We've got all of them
Nice.
except for the last one. So,
So they do something that as a physical media collector I hate, and that is I think it was when the eighth one came out. They put out this elaborate box set, right?
mhm.
Fast Eight, and now they've made two more films. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's how we got them because they all came in with digital and the Blu-rays, and so that's how we
it's
bought
like,
them. And so
what are
now
you
the ninth
doing?
and 10th one we're gonna have to buy separately.
Yeah.
So
Like I understand older franchises like Indiana Jones or something, because those movies were made a while back. You
right,
put out a box set. A few years later, someone's like, "Hey, let's remake something, or let's make another sequel." But they did that knowing that they had more movies coming,
yeah,
and they didn't
yeah,
care.
yeah, yeah. It's frustrating. I'm right there with you.
Theatrical releases this week in cinemas, May 27th. Top Gun Maverick.
Which I have heard is reviewing really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also May 27th. The Bob's Burgers movie.
It's supposed to be a big
Haven't
deal.
heard anything about that.
It's a big deal.
Top Gun Maverick doesn't surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
as much as people want to talk about Tom Cruise away from films, when he makes a movie, it's usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's got me
I
wanting to
kept,
rewatch the first one and watch this one. So
yeah,
peak
we had all
90
those
movies.
rumors. We had all those rumors about him being superior Iron Man
Mm-hmm.
and the Illuminati and stuff. So that was,
Jokes on them. Keep your Top Gun Maverick. Video games, Chris. Have you been playing anything fun or exciting this past week?
man, I've been grinding the show. They got a program ending here in a couple of days. I finally finished it,
Mm,
and their next program they said it's only going to last 2 weeks. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
here
going
we
to be
are.
the bulk of my time for.
I've I've been playing Persona 5 Royal. I am done with the main game. So Persona 5, I have completed it. But now I'm on to like the extra semester stuff now.
Hmm.
But I have been mainly playing Destiny 2 Guardian games, which is their Olympic stuff they do every summer.
Right.
And it ends after this week. But I just been nonstop on it. Nothing exciting really, but just can't ever get off of Destiny whenever they have new content.
Right.
Um, I really don't have any very notable new news. Like we're not gonna really have anything crazy big until June, towards the middle of it for E3 time. So
Yeah.
nothing really crazy going on in the video game world. And then even next 2 weeks, the only thing that I have noticeable coming out is Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song on
Hmm.
everything on May 19th. Like that's it for 2 weeks, which is unless something gets shadow dropped, that's mind blowing to me. But
Have Have you heard about this game? Is it good?
this is I'm pretty sure that's this one that's already out. I think it's the one that's already out. It's a battle royale, and it's just another one. I've heard it's decent. It's okay, but
Yeah.
nothing that I've thought about checking it out. And I was like, nah, I can't sink any more time into that. I got a backlog to finish.
Nothing earth-shattering.
No, nothing crazy. Not like our
Cool.
DC fixing DC, and our Kaya review that we did. So,
There you go.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic show, and I really can't wait for everyone to listen and watch this one. Thank you so much for watching it and listening. If you did, don't forget to share it on all your favorite social media platforms. This is going to be a very shareable episode. So are the book review and the Fix and DC portions we did. Make sure you're sharing those. More eyes we get on it, the better. The more Chris gets hired on to be the Kevin Feige of DCEU. Don't forget to rate us on your favorite podcasting app. Don't forget to like us on YouTube. And on social media, you can follow the NerdWide account on Twitter at nerd_wide. You can follow me at Ty_Haynes. You can follow Chris at MattFTN7. On Facebook.com, search in nerdwide.com in the search bar, and you'll find us with the first one that pops up. Those are the Twitter and Facebook, the ways you get as soon as these episodes are posted. It'll go straight to there on those social media accounts. But guys, that has been this week's episode of the NerdWide podcast, and we are taking a week hiatus, so we will see you back in 2 weeks, technically, or a week and a half from this recording. And we can't wait to see you then. Stay safe, and we'll see you then.